Haven't heard from Emily either. She's in here, but she has. You are. Let me check. Okay. You're not streaming it, so. Anyway. There it is. Welcome, everyone, to the ERSCA Racing Series from Michigan. We apologize for any technical difficulties, and we will be without an overlay, so we'll be doing our best to bring you the results and the running orders as much as possible, kind of similar to the MRN style broadcast. But with me, as always, is Dom Santina. And Dom, and Emily Harlan from Pit Road. And Dom, I'm expecting a hot and slick track and a really fun race here at Michigan tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I like MIS. This is my home track, so excited to see these guys take to the iRacing banks here, and excited to see what happens. We've had, I think, 6 or 7 different winners in the season so far, so we'll see if we can pick up another one here tonight.
And we'll throw it down to Pit Road with Emily. And Emily, we don't know whether these drivers are uh, really thinking that they're going to be going hard after it, or are they going to be saving tires tonight? But have you heard anything from pre-race?
I haven't talked to any of the drivers from pre-race, but I will say that it seemed like people were pretty fired up on social media today in a way that I haven't seen before other races. So I think these guys are ready to go, and I'm certainly ready to see them all, especially after having a couple of weeks off here. So I'm just excited to get going.
Agree on that. It's been a while since we've been able to be with you. Last week, some further technical difficulties prevented us from presenting the race, but tonight it's going to be all about these elite the ERSCA racing drivers. And Chris Wright is going to be on the pole in the 69 car. James Heater will start second in the 16 as the cars finally begin to roll, and we will see these guys carrying it with a lot of speed here at Michigan. The track's hot and slick. I think it's going to be a little bit loose for these drivers, and they're going to have to really keep these cars under control. The draft is going to play a big factor, though, because Michigan is so big. You get such big runs down the straightaways.
Yeah, and to mention that, David mentioned we weren't on the air last week, but Chris Wright actually picked up the win last week at Chicagoland. So not only is he the defending race winner, he gets to start right here in the best starting spot on the pole position.
Yeah, with that, Thomas Sherman, Ethan Burrell starting right behind in third and fourth. And Nick Massey, Joe Francis, fifth and sixth. Tate Lytle will start in seventh with Ryan Lutz in eighth. Matthew Weeks starts ninth. Cameron Rich will start in 10th place today. Matthew Weeks and Ryan Lutz just coming off of beating and banging at Martinsville together, and that a day after wrecking each other for the win at Atlanta. They have agreed over social media to kind of keep the wrecking to a cool, but if you see those two together, I would still keep an eye on them.
All right, here we go. Getting ready to go green here at Michigan. Chris Wright, James Heater are going to lead us to the green flag, and we are underway.
Right, with a great jump. Heater will take second. Sherman, though, going to hold in the inside lane. I think the outside may be the preferred lane throughout the most of this day today, but Chris Wright runs the middle groove, and he will jump out to a huge lead as they're going to go 3 wide behind them. Ethan Burrell, the one pushing up on the outside, and a big snarling pack of cars heads down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and Ethan Burrell, we'll see if today's the day to break through. He's finished second in the last 2 races at Talladega and Chicagoland. We'll see if that 23 car can get up here and challenge for the race win. Or the 37 car.
Yep, he takes away second from James Heater. Ethan is now, I believe, second in points after last week as well. This 37 has been dominant for a number of races this year, but just hasn't been able to pull out the victory yet. As Ethan takes that second spot, Joe Francis moves it up and into third spot around Heater, so Heater falling back a little bit. It'll be Sherman, Nick Massey, Ryan Lutz, Matthew Weeks, and Tate Lytle all streaming back in as this big pack of cars continues to race behind Chris Wright.
Yeah, and it'll be a 100-lap race here tonight around Michigan International Speedway. Currently come to complete lap number 2. It's going to be a lengthy one here, but we are well underway, and you can see that Burrell and Francis kind of drafting together here on the top part of the racetrack, trying to catch up to Chris Wright.
Big move by Joe Francis, just dives it in on the outside lane, looking for that second spot. We haven't seen much muscle out of this 50 car. He's been one of the more teens to mid-pack cars, but really, got that opportunity with a good qualifying run and is trying to run up front here and do a really good job. 50 car looking pretty stout early on.
Yeah, and I'd also like to mention, since we don't have the overlay, this is the Stay Tuned Sports 200 that is just underway. Our presenting sponsor here for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to make sure the sponsors are still happy despite our lack of the broadcasting space. Nick Massey moving forward early on, last year's champion. He has been somewhat quiet in the recent races. Was not really a factor last week at Chicago and at Talladega either. It's been since Bristol that we've seen that 48 car in contention for the win.
Yeah, he's got to be hungry to get back up there and try to challenge for a race win. Doing well so far in the top 5, riding along at the moment.
Big move down there by Damian Leininger. Damian riding a little bit different colors in that 12 car. New paint job for the Batflip podcast number 12. Little throwback car, reminiscent of the Chase Briscoe machine that was run at Texas last year.
Right in front of him was a Matthew Bayuk in the 29 car. They're running in about the 14th and 15th position.
Not a whole lot of movement throughout the pack. I was looking to see if anybody was really moving forward or not. Everyone maintaining very, very well and very effectively. For now, top 10, Chris Wright, Joe Francis, Ethan Burrell, Thomas Sherman, Nick Massey. The battle there for that 6th spot between Ryan Lutz and James Heater, Matthew Weeks and Tate Lytle, and then Chuck Sweeting round out the top 10. Chuck, very good on these big tracks when you have to, save your tires and formulate pit strategy. I imagine that 75 car will be attempting to get into victory lane.
Riding on board with Tate Lytle at the moment as he's in the middle of a battle, looking under James Heater here in the 16 car, trying to make a pass for the 7th position.
Yeah, Tate was our winner at Atlanta early in the season, so this 56 team has been very quick. Missed a couple of races there, though, and that did cost him a little bit in the point standings, but certainly been one of our more formidable drivers since the start of the season. Today's gone by, number 56 car has been very good, and Lutz and Keeter almost get into each other. Lutz getting a little bit tight on the bottom of the racetrack, and I think we're going to see that all day long. These cars just not having that room to swing out to the wall when they're side by side. That driver on the bottom is going to have to be very careful not to run into those on the outside lane.
Keep an eye on that as the night goes along. This is really the first battle here inside the top 10. Everyone in front of them single file. And now it looks like Peter's going to be able to withstand the pressure. Here comes Cameron Rich.
Cameron Rich and Josh Adams up into the top 10 now as well as they battle around Chuck Sweeting and Matthew Weeks. But again, the bottom lane a little too tight. Rich has to back out of it ever so slightly, and that does give the advantage to the outside. Rich, though, turns it down, able to keep it even with Weeks. Tate Lytle jumped to the bottom and in front of him, and that gave Rich a little bit of a draft. But you see the outside lane pulled ahead of Josh Adams.
So, Dave, with the track being so hot, does that mean these guys are going to be wrenching on the cars all night long, trying to get them maybe a little bit more freer, able to turn and use that bottom lane just a little bit?
I don't think they're going to use the bottom at all. Michigan is it's not progressively banked, but that bottom lane is always so slick. Anytime I run on Michigan, the bottom lane is where no one ever runs. You want to be up on the top groove in that middle line, right where Nick Massey just ran. That's generally the place to be, and I think without question, that's how it's going to continue to go. As Ethan Burrell and Nick Massey have both flown around Joe Francis to pick up second and third. Thomas Sherman now bearing down on Francis for 4th. Heater has cleared Ryan Lutz, and Lutz is going to clear Tate Lytle.
Everyone kind of single file behind Ethan Burrell. Chris Wright has absolutely checked out so far. He's got almost a full 1.5-second gap. We saw it there a little bit ago between Wright and Burrell. Everyone else, though, still pretty much nose to tail behind that.
See, the first battle really is Ryan Lutz still working that bottom lane. Lutz really likes to send it into these corners and keep that corner speed up, which is what allows him to run the bottom a little bit better than others. He runs Iowa so well by doing this, but the speed is just too great at Michigan on the outside lane. It's keeping Ryan Lutz from really getting any extra momentum going through that bottom groove, and he's not able to pick anything up when he gets to the gas.
Top 10 really kind of staying the same. Wright, Burrell, Massey, Francis, Sherman, your top 5. Then it's Heater, Lytle, Weeks, Lutz, Rich, rounding out your top 10.
In order to preserve the points battle, Ethan Burrell is 7 points behind Ryan Lutz, and right now that would mean Ethan Burrell and Ryan Lutz are tied for the points lead, and every spot Ryan Lutz loses, that's another point for Ethan Burrell to take the lead away. Colin Fambrough is third in points, but he is 30 behind Ethan Burrell, so no change will be had to the front 2 spots unless they swap it with each other. Ethan Burrell, Ryan Lutz really running away with the points lead in the middle of the season.
As we said in the intro, that 37 car has been locked in the last few weeks, and he's up there in the 2nd position again, having another consistent run here, just 12 laps in to this one. And we're looking at Tate Lytle, James Heater, Francis, and Sherman going at it now.
The 2 guys who've had some really tough luck of late. Well, one guy who's had tough luck of late, way in the back of the field, Dalton Tucker, has been in the wall and out of the race in the last 2 races, and it's sent him from the points lead way back in points, all the way to 9th in points. So Dalton Tucker really looking for an opportunity to maybe move back up to the front, but for now, him and Colin Fambrough battling it out with 21st and 23rd. That's just not going to do it in terms of catching up with these guys like Ryan Lutz and Ethan Burrell for the top in points.
No, not at all. And that was a car that was having a run like Burrell is right now at the moment, who was running consistently early on in the season, but now, as you said there, David, having some trouble trying to get the things going again. And take a look there at Ethan Burrell, still running in the 2nd position, but look who's coming. Nick Massey into the 3rd spot, trying to track down Ethan Burrell for that 2nd spot.
Ethan Burrell has started to eat into the lead of Chris Wright. This 37 car turning on the speed in the middle of the run definitely saved up his stuff for a long green flag run. Chris Wright maybe burned it up a little bit to get that big lead. We've seen that from Chris Wright before. I remember at Atlanta, Chris Wright led the first 25 or so laps in that race, and then guess who it was to drive up to him and take him to school for the rest of the race until his teammate Tate Lytle came. That was Ethan Burrell. Guy on the move right now that I'm watching is Josh Adams in that 95 car. He is up to 7th, started in 13th, and he might even get another one here before this corner's out. He'll be underneath Joe Francis, I think. Big move to the front by Josh Adams, and we've talked to him a number of times. Talked to him last week as well, or 2 weeks ago rather, at Daytona, and Adams was really thinking he was going to have an opportunity. Or Talladega, Adams won Talladega rather. That's when we talked to him, and you know, he's certainly expecting to move up in points. He had a really good run at Chicagoland last week. Adams becoming one of those formidable guys that we talked about, along with these Pro Edge Toyotas and Chris Wright in the 69 that would like to challenge Ryan Lutz for this points lead.
Yeah, as David said, Adams followed up that race win at Talladega with a 3rd place finish last week at Chicagoland, and now on the charge here at Michigan. See if he can continue to march that 95 car up to the front, and as the run goes on, see where he comes into play.
That black and green car of Chuck Sweeting back there. No decals, no nothing. Chuck's just running the black and green car, and it seems pretty intimidating flying down the back straightaway at Michigan. These guys are running up around 200 miles an hour, and it's showing. These guys are really putting on a good show. This track very slick. One guy I am watching starting to move to the front is R.C. Enerson, running the number 7 car up there. He is running higher than anybody else on the racetrack.
Yeah, Anderson in the 16th position at the moment. Sweeting just outside the top 10 in the 12th position. Just for reference for those of you watching to know where everybody's at. There's Johnny Thomas right in front of him as well in the 83 machine.
They've been swapping spots within the top 10 a little bit, but for the most part, the players have been identical from the start of the race all the way to now. Chris Wright, the leader, Ethan Burrell in second, Nick Massey third, Thomas Sherman fourth, and Tate Lytle into fifth. Adams has moved past Francis and into sixth, and is challenging Tate Lytle for that fifth spot. And then it's Matthew Weeks in eighth, Ryan Lutz in ninth, and James Heater rounds out the top 10 for now on lap number 18.
I think I just saw up front, though, I think we have a new car in the second place position. I think Massey has now got around Ethan Burrell for that second spot. There it is, starting to pull away just a little bit.
Massey's car looks really good. He's come from fifth spot on the starting grid and has only moved forward so far, and is in that clean air now, and will be hunting down Chris Wright, who was one of his main competitors last year for the championship. Wright and Massey took it to the final race, where Massey was crowned the victor at Atlanta.
They're keeping that gap just inside of a second between Wright and Massey, and now Massey, you can really see, starting to pull away from Burrell a little bit too. Ethan trying to stick with him, but the gap starting to expand between those two. And Sherman back there in the fourth position, a little ways back. Lytle rounds out your top five.
Massey really running that top groove as more high than I've seen anybody besides maybe R.C. Anderson running, and he's pulling it pretty quickly. I'm wondering if people will get a little more brave as we go and run a little bit higher on the racetrack. You see here, Thomas Sherman and Ethan Burrell both taking a much wider arc through the corner, maybe running a seam or two up from their regular lines as Lytle about spins it out there.
We have completed 20 laps in the books here at the Stay Tuned Sports 200. Got 80 laps left to go in this one. Still quite a ways, but we've put a good chunk down already as we look at our top five battle. And there's Adams closing in as well. He's trying to make his mark into the top five.
I imagine that between laps 30 and 40, there will be pit stops. These guys are going to have to make 2 pit stops at minimum if this race were to go green the whole way. Certainly don't expect that, but weirder things have happened for sure.
Looking back there at Cameron Rich, running just outside the top 10 at the moment in the 11th position. James Heater right in front of him, and then there is Sweeting right behind him in the 12th spot.
Chuck Sweeting there in 12th. Damian Leininger and Matthew Bayuk 13th and 14th, and Johnny Thomas sits 15th. The passing has really been simple swaps for position. It seems like nobody can really make their way through the field. Everyone running just about where they started. Certainly a bit of a surprise. The biggest mover so far has been Jeff Green in the 38 car. He has gone from tail end Charlie 34th after he was, I believe, 4th in the heat race to finish to 34th starting spot. He is now at the 22nd and battling Josh Clark for 21st. It's a good run early for Jeff Green. Here's another shot of Scott Crump, who has been very, very slow to the start of this race. Crump all the way down in 36th position. So as we kind of sling back through the field looking for some of our competitors, Crump has not had a good start to this one. And he might even have a little bit of damage there. And we do have one car off track, that is Jordan Owens, who is one of our top 20 in points. Jordan's been very good, but 3 laps down already, so possibly some damage from an incident with Crump early in the race. As we swing back through the field a little bit, try to pick everyone up. But for now, it's Chris Wright over Nick Massey. Massey has eaten another 1/10 of a second into the Chris Wright lead, but that 69 car seems very stout here early in the race.
Yeah, we worried about maybe some tire fall off and fading back a little bit, and the lead seems to stabilize just inside a second, about 3/4 of a second, the difference between first and second. Nick Massey holding just about a half-second lead over Ethan Burrell in the 3rd position, and then there's a big battle going on now back behind Sherman, Lytle, and Adams.
And Lutz and Weeks.
4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Huge group of cars here, and a lot of those guys, ones that I would expect to be running for the win in this one. Tate Lytle, Josh Adams, Matthew Weeks, Thomas Sherman, all have shown good speed on these 1.5-mile tracks. Thomas Sherman's been really unlucky in this series. He has had a number of starts, just ended in some version of a crash that hasn't been his fault. And yeah, Ryan Lutz, obviously the points leader, so on board with him now, watching the battle between Josh Adams, last week's third place runner, and Talladega's race winner, and Tate Lytle, the Atlanta winner.
And now with Lutz starting to make his way up, David mentioned it, that the gap was really close between him and Burrell, but Burrell starting to move backwards a little bit. Lutz starting to move forwards. It's going to put it back in Lutz's favor here at the moment as we're a quarter of the way through this one here at Michigan International Speedway.
Lutz trying to do it without any drafting help. Adams trying to stay in behind Tate Lytle, but Lutz underneath him, and that will give the advantage to the 36 car. Matthew Weeks looking on behind them, and Lytle trying to run that high groove, and I just think the high line is going to be the way to go. You see Weeks is now going to get a run on Lutz.
Caution out on
that'll
the
be
speedway.
the caution.
Right at the lap 26 mark, caution flies here.
It'll be Richard Hines and Zishan Dura getting together, and I think Scott Crump might have gotten a piece of that as well. Big battle in the rear of the field there. Maybe 7 or 8 cars deep, and it just kind of went. They came together exiting turn 4. Zishan and Hines did. Some big damage for Marshall Stanley as well. I think everyone else gets through it okay. And then Scott Crump spun to avoid those two, but did not receive any further damage. So that will erase the Chris Wright lead as we look for the replay here, and there it is. Colin Fambrough back in the way back part of the field here, and right here. Oh, it's Nick Indelicato that gets into Richard Hines.
I think even Colin Fambrough kind of came up the track a little bit though, and kind of made contact with Indelicato, and then they all got together behind that.
Yeah, Zishan is number 01 in the series we just ran on Monday nights, so apologize for the mix-up there. That is Nick Indelicato, who is 6th in points, so that's a pretty big incident, actually. Nick Indelicato kind of losing out a big chunk, an opportunity to take a big chunk out of some of the guys in front of him here, but it sticks his nose in 3 wide, and then Fambrough comes up the track, not expecting to be 3 wide right there, I don't think, and Indelicato going to pay the price for it. The leaders are on pit road now as we finish watching this replay one more time. Looks like Hines and Indelicato both continue on. Massey missed his pit box and had to pull back, so I don't think the 48 car will be winning this race off pit road. Some guys, I think, maybe missed their box and head through one time.
Everybody did come down pit road, though. I don't think anybody stayed out there during that caution.
You see how missing the box affected Nick Massey. He lost a ton of spots exiting pit road. We'll get the running order for you here in a second when it rebounds and comes back around. So when we can, we will call it out. But for now, I think it's going to be Chris Wright, then Ethan Burrell, then Tate Lytle 3rd, Josh Adams in 4th, and then Sherman in 5th. Massey all the way to 7th after sliding through his pit stall.
Correction, I apologize about that. It looks like there were maybe a few cars that stayed out here.
Yep, Brandon Scott stayed out to pick up some a lap lead. And I believe that is Zishan Dura there, and Harrison Talon. I think Zishan and Harrison were both on pit road, went ahead and cleared through and missed their pit stalls. They will all, I believe, come down here and get fuel and tires.
Yeah, it looks like Scott and Dura will at least come down. And here comes Talon as well. So all 3 of them, that'll reset the order back to normal with Chris Wright taking over as your race leader.
Wright, then Burrell. So Burrell will be not having to battle with anyone. We'll see if he can maybe hang with the 69 car right at the start of the run. As they hit the line and set the order for us, Chris Wright is the leader. Ethan Burrell, like we said, 2nd. Tate Lytle 3rd. Josh Adams in 4th. Thomas Sherman runs 5th. Then it'll be Matthew Weeks 6th. Nick Massey 7th. Joe Francis in 8th. Chuck Sweeting in 9th. And Matthew Bayuk in 10th. Damian Leininger running 11th. Johnny Thomas 12th. Ryan Lutz 13th. Bad stop for the 36 car. James Heater 14th. And R.C. Anderson rounds out the top 15. Dalton Tucker into 16th. Jeff Green 17th, Gerald Campbell 18th, Robert Hill 19th, and Josh Clark in 20th. So with that, we will go to the restart here as they come down. 1 to go has been given. Cars are side by side, and we'll have to see if anybody has anything for Chris Wright.
We go back green. We will be at lap number 30 of 100. Just about a third of the way through.
Yep, and I think these guys will have to make one more pit stop. They'll be able to go about 30 laps, maybe 35 laps if they can manage it. Then they'll pit again, get 4 fresh tires, and finish this race up. So it could go green the rest of the way. But as we've seen kind of before, we've seen these races get pretty crazy late in the going.
All right, here we go. Chris Wright choosing the top line, going to bring us back to the restart. Ethan Burrell to his inside on row number 1. We're going to go back green flag racing here at the Stay Tuned Sports 200. Chris Wright jumps back out to the race lead once again.
Now, poor restart for Ethan Burrell. Josh Adams to his outside. Burrell going to bury it down into turn 1, though. He's looking for the lead here.
37 car is tired of running second fiddle. He wants the race lead, and he's going to get a good run off the corner draw, even with the 69 car. Tate Lytle going to jump down there and try to give him some help.
Ethan Burrell has put some big pressure on Chris Wright now. That was not the case in any point in this first run. Wright was able to set his own pace. Now Burrell challenging to the inside. Josh Adams looking on in third. It'll be still side by side exiting turn 4. At the line, Chris Wright by a matter of inches that time, 0.008 seconds.
And here comes the 95 car as well. Josh Adams, who we're riding on board with, into the 3rd position, trying to get up here and battle for the race lead as he makes the move on Tate Lytle.
Dom, you have to wonder if Ethan Burrell may run his tires a little bit too hard here, pursuing the lead. You know, he's going to be running that bottom lane. That's not the ideal lane as he packs it in right on Wright's door. That could be a bad thing if this race goes for a long green flag run here.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to be a little cautious, especially just a few laps into this green flag run.
At the line, that one was 1/1000th of a second closer than the last one, 0.007 to Wright. Burrell just cannot get the run on the bottom of the racetrack on the 69 car.
But what a great battle for the lead it has been. And now here comes Adams to the inside of Tate Lytle. We are 2 by 2 up front, trying to settle these top 4 positions.
Yeah, Matthew Weeks has settled into 5th, looking on here with 2 of his teammates in front. Looks like Burrell just a little bit loose entering the corner that time, but Wright didn't really gain any time on Ethan. He does clear him this time, though, and Ethan will drop into the draft. Top 4 still covered under a blanket as Tate Lytle and Adams side by side.
Great battle for the race lead here as things start to settle down just a little bit. Tate Lytle going to get the run.
What a move by Tate Lytle. What a move. That was, that was really good. Tate Lytle's now going to be challenging for the race lead. He had a huge run through 1 and 2.
David, have to wonder now, after giving a few laps of pushing, you think Ethan Burrell's backing off a little bit, maybe to kind of conserve tires just a little bit after pushing it hard there for a few laps.
Absolutely he is. I think because he knows he can settle in right here in 4th spot with his teammate right behind him, he and Matthew Weeks can kind of save tires together from 4th and 5th. That's almost certainly the plan. Tate Lytle, though, just suddenly with a big burst of speed and a really good entry to 1 and 2, just seems like that 56 car might have a little bit more speed than he's been showing. You know, I think he showed his hand a little early there, and you know, now we know this 56 car can really get after it entering turn 1.
Josh Adams sitting back there in the 3rd spot as well, just kind of hanging out, watching everyone go after Chris Wright, your race leader, who's led almost every single lap here, except maybe a caution lap or 2.
Yeah, quick thought on the progress of Ryan Lutz. He has come up to 10th place after going back to 13th, but that is all he's been able to pick up. He bypassed Heater and Joe Francis. Dalton Tucker there up to 14th. He's moved around some people, and Jared Mogard is back here side by side, I believe, with Damian Leininger. Mogard has come from well in the back of the field, up from 40th to position 16 in the 00 car. So Jared Mogard might have something to say for him if he can ever get any track position.
definitely had to pick up some spots on pit road there, get a great pit stop, help that car out, that 00 car, and move him towards the front.
You're ahead there, and Dalton Tucker really moving forward now, though, up to, I think, he's still 14th, but seems like this 24 car's got some good speed on it if he can get up to the top 10 and maybe challenge those race leaders.
James Heater going backwards here. He looked under Johnny Thomas, got mighty loose. Now here comes Damian Leininger trying to dive to the bottom and make a pass.
God, Damian thought better of it, and that was a great call by the 12 car. Smart race there. Don't take them 3 wide if you're not sure you can make that pass. Damian, though, going to lose the spot to Mogard and now may be under attack from Robert Hill.
You can see how much momentum you lose on that bottom line as Heater was moving backwards pretty bad there, as now Mogard was going after him as we jump back up to the front. Chris Wright able to pull away just a little bit once again from Tate Lytle in the 2nd position. That's Josh Adams 3rd, Ethan Burrell 4th, Matthew Weeks 5th, Sherman 6th, Massey 7th, Bayou 8th, Lutz in 9th, and Sweeting rounds out your top 10.
And Lutz moves up another position there, and if things were to hold as they are now, you would be able the points leader by 1 point over Ethan Burrell. '36 car does look pretty quick. He and Nick Massey trying to work their way back up towards the front after some slow pit stops that time. For now, though, they will be content to ride in the top 10. I know Massey had saved his tires the first run and really come alive after they got to about 10 or 15 laps. That's when that 48 car really started looking good.
Yeah, you can see they have a little bit of a gap to make up there between Massey and Thomas Sherman up in front. Top 7 have kind of pulled away a little bit from this group.
Battle is for 2nd. Tate Lytle has fallen into the clutches of Josh Adams up near the front of the field. Adams trying everything he can to get around this 56 car. Tate maybe abused the tires just a little bit too much in hunting at Chris Wright, and Tate slides up in front of Josh Adams.
And Adams was using that line you were talking about, David, going way to the top of the racetrack, but now making that contact. That allows Ethan Burrell to jump back in the mix. He takes a peek to the outside, but not going to be able to make the move. Now here comes Adams up to block, and everybody goes to the top of the racetrack.
Ethan now to the bottom on Adams. He's going to try to sneak underneath him. That hasn't really worked yet for pretty much anyone that I've seen. That inside move in turn 1 just doesn't seem to have any steam to it. The outside lane seems to be where it's at in terms of making power moves. Can Burrell clear Adams, though? Yes, he does it. Adams maybe got a little high there and was unable to really counter. He'll try the crossover move, though.
If there's anyone that's going to make that bottom line work, it's Ethan Burrell. He has tried multiple times to try to go down there and make passes. We just saw him be able to pay it off with Adams. Multiple times he went after Chris Wright down there on the bottom, couldn't make it work, and now Adams trapped on the bottom with Burrell on the top side.
Yep. Unable to complete the crossover move is Josh Adams. Now Burrell will have that preferred middle line unless Adams can kind of crowd him to the top, but Adams buries it in deep into the corner, and he'll pass Burrell back.
He's going to even take a look under Lytle, but now slide into that 3rd position. And even with all this battling, they're still hanging on to that back bumper of Chris Wright. They have not let him pull out as much as we saw in the first little run here.
These guys have kept him more reined in this time within their sights, and I'm watching this 11 car behind this group too. He's saving his tires, just biding his time. Matthew Weeks very good at these save your tire type of racetracks, and when the tires eventually do fall off, which we're 12 or so laps into this run, I think maybe 10 or so more laps, and the guys who have been abusing their tires, which these two who are crossing each other over lap after lap, they would be abusing their tires.
Yeah, definitely. Ethan Burrell's been very aggressive since the restart. He faded back for a little bit, but now he's back. Pedal to the floorboard, attacking Josh Adams here for the 3rd spot. David said it, we're on lap 42 of 100. 12 laps since we went back green flag racing, almost to the halfway point here in this one.
Been a good race so far as Adams and Burrell cannot get away from each other. They've been crossing each other over lap after lap so far. See some cars coming off pit road. I believe that's Richard Hines coming off with damage.
Now they have caught Tate Lytle here real quick, closing up on the back bumper of the 56 car.
Yeah, I was trying to look through the guy who's really fallen off the worst so far in this second longer green flag run. It's been James Heater from that second starting position. I think he was even 10th on the restart. He's now back in 16th under fire from Damian Leininger. So the James Heater car just has not had any success so far. Jeff Green and Jared Bogard seem to be our biggest movers of the race so far, up from way in the back of the field to the 14th and 15th positions respectively. Two guys that I think if they got some track position in the top 5 would be very formidable.
Yeah, their cars are definitely fast. They definitely have got some help with pit stops, and if they could pay it off one more time here with a good pit stop, they could challenge for the lead or the top 10 for sure.
Big move by Josh Adams there to jump down in front of Ethan Burrell and clear himself entering the corner. And that will now leave Ethan in the clutches of his teammate Matthew Weeks. And Weeks going to peek underneath and try that inside lane. He thinks better of it and drafts Ethan down the straightaway. Maybe he will go for it. That move, it works, but it provides that crossover opportunity. And if Weeks is able to clear Ethan, which he is not, I don't know that that would have helped them a whole lot. And in fact, they're going to be losing ground to Josh Adams while they run side by side here.
Big run for the 11 car. It's going to clear him in the corner, though. To the 4th spot goes Matthew Weeks ahead of Ethan Burrell.
Into look now, but Ryan Lutz coming up to the back bumper of this 37 car as Ethan shoves Matthew Weeks down the front straightaway at Michigan at these high speeds. Battled for this top 5, really heating up, though. They're all kind of coming together here as we come off of turn 2, approaching halfway in the halfway bonus points. Chris Wright would get a 10-point bonus and I believe a playoff point if he were to lead lap 50.
Yeah, still 4 laps away from that one, but no indication that anything's going to change because he has been the man on the point so far all night long. Looking to go back-to-back here in this one. We have not had a driver go back-to-back so far in the ERSCA season. We have had a repeat winner. That was Cameron Rich, but no one to go back-to-back yet in the 69 car. Definitely the favorite as we approach the halfway point.
A lot of pit stops, a lot of time to go in this race. Certainly don't want to call it yet, but intensity is about to pick up as that halfway point looms. The top 10 will all get bonus points. So, these fighting for 1 and 2 points, that could be the difference at the end of the day for Ethan Burrell, Ryan Lutz winning that regular season championship as Josh Adams nearly walls Tate Lytle, but he manages to save it, and that'll open the door for Matthew Weeks on the outside.
Here comes that 11 car. He's been biding his time patiently back there in the 5th position. Now up to the 3rd spot as he gets around Josh Adams, and now he'll try to attack Tate Lytle for the 2nd spot.
Yep, good for Matthew Weeks. Needs some points to try to continue to move into the chase spot. 11 car is, I think he's on the outside looking in for now. He's 14th, but he needs every point he can get here. He's battling with Josh Adams. Adams is 13th in points. Lytle. Yeah, go ahead.
Lap 48 of 100, so closing in on that halfway point. What about Tate Lytle there, David?
Yeah, Tate's going to have to pick it up if he wants to try to get this halfway point. I think it's 2 to go to the halfway stage, and that's when you got to make your move. Tate Lytle needs to find a little extra speed in this 56 car and take it away from Chris Wright if he's going to be able to. Otherwise, he's just going to get 9 points and no playoff point.
Going to have to find something. Still about 0.2 of a second back from Chris Wright. Hasn't been able to close in. He's going to need to give it all he can if he wants to pick up that spot.
It's just 10 points also. It's not a playoff point, but Tate's going to need to do something with it if he's going to pick up the maximum number of points there. Wright just has had every advantage so far today. This will be the last lap in the first half of the race. And we'll award points from 1st through 10th. We'll call that out here when they get back to the line. No one able to make any ground up. The only battle in the top 10 is between Bayuk and Francis, and that is for 10th and for that extra bonus point. For now, though, Chris Wright has been able to hold off Tate Lytle every lap so far today. Tate unable to catch him through 3 and 4, and that will mean Chris Wright will pick up the halfway bonus points.
It would be Chris Wright, Tate Lytle, Matthew Weeks, Josh Adams, Ethan Burrell, Thomas Sherman, Nick Massey, Ryan Lutz, Chuck Sweeting, and Matthew Bayou picking up the top 10.
Francis unable to get into the points there, and Ethan Burrell does gain 3 points on Ryan Lutz, so that deficit now down to, I think, 4 points.
Tate Lytle is definitely on the gas, though. The lead down to 1/10 of a second. That 56 car is definitely coming. He's cut that lead in half. Couldn't get there by the halfway point, but he is closed on Chris Wright.
Yeah, it seems like Tate gets him in turn 1, and Wright gaps Tate in 3 and 4. They're just a little bit better than each other on each side of the track, and with this track running so competitively so far in this race, these guys are really close together in time, and it's not really affording us many opportunities to pass or to gain time on the cars in front of you.
Yeah, as I said, that the gap went back to 2/10 of a second. And kind of goes back to where it was originally.
Adams able to pull Ethan Burrell through the corner. But you see Ethan will bring it back to Josh Adams exiting. And that's just kind of the gains on this is they're rubber banding. They're going a little forward, they're coming a little bit back. Everyone moving forward, coming back all the way through the field, and you end up with this long train of cars running it almost like a Daytona-style super speedway on those real cars where you just can't get away from anyone else, but there's not really any passing to be had.
The next kind of waypoint to watch out for will be around lap 60. That'll be 30 laps that we've been on these tires. That's the last time they were down pit road as the caution flag waved at lap 30.
Yep, gotta wonder when that next, if and when that next caution will come out, and then when that green flag pit stop will come if the caution doesn't come out. Adams peaked to the bottom, and Burrell all over him there. That is the battle. It's for 4th between Adams and Burrell. Burrell going to go to the top of the racetrack.
These two are going to resume the battle from a few laps prior. They've been going at it during this green flag run back and forth. Now Adams going to close in on Matthew Weeks, get a little bit of a run, but not be able to do anything with it.
Progress update for our biggest mover so far. Jared Mogard has moved into 12th. He passed by Johnny Thomas. He passed by Dalton Tucker. He's now charging after Joe Francis for 11th. This is from 40th starting spot. A pretty remarkable drive through the field for Jared Mogard.
Yeah, the other two guys we were kind of watching to see if they could rebound from their bad pit stops. Nick Massey is stalled out in the 7th spot. Ryan Lutz has been able to move up to the 8th spot, but is still sitting back there behind Massey as well, not really being able to make any progress.
These top 7 are just so even right now. It seems like their slightest mistakes will cost you 6 to 7 spots just instantly because these guys are so close together. Massey going after Thomas Sherman. Adams and Burrell have been side by side a number of times, but no one can really make any ground on the car in front of them.
Yeah, they are nose to tail. You can see all the way up to the 2nd spot there when the camera kind of changes its position a little bit. You can see all the way up to Weeks and Lytle, and they're all grouped together. Like you said, David, one little slip up or get caught on that bottom line and get a little loose, and you're going to move backwards pretty fast.
Ethan Burrell's going to get Josh Adams here, exiting turn 2. Burrell down the back straightaway looking for everything he can get here, and Adams going to cross him over one more time. These guys have not stopped battling since the green flag dropped on lap 30.
Nick Massey to the outside of Thomas Sherman, looking to pick up that spot as well, and Lutz thinking about making it 3 wide. It looked like he was going to go with Massey for a little bit on the top side. They haven't been able to completely clear him. Massey might be clear now. Lutz going to go after an attack of Sherman now.
Massey's going to get through Sherman. Lutz going to follow him through. So Thomas Sherman back to 7th. Move Massey to 5th. Or rather 6th. Lutz to 7th. Sherman back to 8th. And Chuck Sweeting there in 9th. Rounds out this top group. Burrell and Adams still fighting side by side.
Yeah, and that's going to allow Massey and Lutz to draw right up on him. And there goes Adams. He gets loose, gets knocked to the bottom, and Massey and Lutz blow right by him. And now they're going to go after Ethan Burrell.
Yep, Matt, and here comes Lutz on Nick Massey. So now they're side by side behind Ethan Burrell. Battle for the lead. Tate Lytle going after Chris Wright. He snuck up on him while we were watching the other battles. At the line, Lytle, I believe, by that much. And Josh Adams has brought the 95 down pit road. Adams by Lytle by 1/1000th of a second led that lap.
Go time now. Some tires that they've been waiting on. It's now time to use them up as we're getting close to green flag pit stops. Tate Lytle wants the race lead, and he's going to push the issue down the backstretch.
Josh Adams has short pitted the field here, so that'll be a strategy call. If the caution comes out, Adams will be in trouble. But until it does, right now it's Tate Lytle's race. Lytle clears right for the lead. Adams would be in control of the race after pit stops, I believe. These tires have fallen off a little bit at minimum, but you'll see Adams get passed by here right there on the apron. That means Adams now a lap down. He's going to have to unlap himself from these guys with those fresh tires. We'll see how much of an advantage they are.
New race leader and a clear race leader this time. Lytle led a couple laps ago at the line, but now he is out front. And for the first time, it's someone else other than the 69 car leading us around Michigan. Chris Wright into the second spot. Matthew Weeks sitting back there in third. Looks like Adams going to jump in around the top 5, so not going to be too hard once these guys dive down pit road to get back on the lead lap.
Now let's see how fast Josh Adams is with those fresh tires. I'm interested to see how much grip those new tires have. Adams the only car right now to be on them, and he's got a lot of grip. You see him fly by Tate Lytle there on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, look at that. He made that look super easy. Went from about 5th to 1st in the middle of the corner. Back on the lead lap now, just a full lap behind though, and that will be made up once they go down pit road.
Yep, a couple other cars have come down pit road, Josh Personette being one of those in the 18 car. So for now though, Tate Lytle will retain the lead, but we are looking to see if we can't get any of these guys, to pit road even later, as Cameron Rich now heads down pit road. So just keeping an eye on pit road from the middle and back of the field to see who's going to play that strategy. Right now, Josh Adams, Cameron Rich, the two that are kind of on this short pit strategy. It can be good, but oftentimes it just doesn't work out.
Well, and Michigan is kind of notorious for being a fuel mileage race. Seen a lot of guys run out of fuel in the winding laps here at Michigan International Speedway. And with these guys doing 30-30 the first 2 pit stops, that's going to put it in some conservation mode there. Try to stretch it for the final 40 laps for Josh Adams and anyone else coming down pit road at the moment.
Battle is there for third spot. Now it's Massey, or rather fourth spot. Massey trying to take it from Matthew Weeks. Ethan Burrell has moved past his teammate. Weeks just holding serve on the outside, and here comes Ryan Lutz on the outside of Massey.
This is for the 5th and 6th spot. Lutz trying to take away that 5th spot from Massey. Weeks there in the 4th spot.
Sherman looking on, and as his Chuck Sweeting in the 75. That is first through 8th there, Sweeting in the 8th spot. Another one comes down pit road. It's Johnny Thomas down pit road in the 83 car. The leader of the league heads down. He was a little hot on the brakes entering there. Not sure if he got to pit road speed. We'll find out if he takes a long time on his pit stop. Nick Massey also struggling with some blinking issues, and here comes Sherman to the outside.
Yeah, blinks off the screen for a minute. Thomas Sherman going to take over that spot back in the 6th position, 23 car. Trying to move back forward once again, but Tate Lytle, now the man in control out front.
Johnny Thomas did not get penalized for entering pit road too quickly. He will be all right, and he will be flashed by here as they enter turn 1. You'll see him on pit road there, I believe, just on the outside of your screen. Johnny will be behind this group. It takes looks like about a lap or so is what it costs you to come down pit road with those fresh tires, and then you're able to make most of that back up. As you can see, Cameron Rich at the back of this field, they're 3 wide in the back of this pack.
Yeah, and I think about a lap ago, either he was mighty close to or might have brushed the wall. Matthew Weeks pushed Ryan Lutz up there right near the outside wall, but he was able to get around him and now into the 4th position.
Nick Massey's coming to pit road. 48 car has had enough on this run, wants some new tires. Another one of our leaders heads down pit road, and he'll be followed by Damian Leininger. New tires, pit strategy, that's what's going to be the key to winning this race. We didn't do a keys of the race at the start of it, but that would have been it. It's executing on pit road and calling the right strategies.
So, David, I know you said roughly 30 to 40 laps pit strategy-wise. 40 is probably the outside limit, right? So 35, they got to be kind of safe, right?
Yeah, I think so. They're going to be all right with pitting one lap. Josh Adams might be pushing it. He was the first to pit, obviously, but as we're getting more guys coming down pit road. I mean, this is when green flag stops are open.
All right, look at the mess with what are lap cars, because they pitted coming onto the racetrack. Now there's Nick Massey about to go a lap down. Johnny Thomas, you can see the 48 car trying to get back up to speed, and he actually probably made out as good as anyone, as he's right behind Tate Lytle there, and will move right back onto the lead lap very quickly.
We'll just see how quickly he can get up to the Josh Adams machine. Adams way up the field now after all the pit stops. He is back up running in 20th place. He's exiting turn 1 right this second. So Lutz and Burrell battling it out for third spot, but all that's going to be happening behind Josh Adams once pit stops actually occur.
Yeah, but this 36 car is coming alive here in this long green flag stretch. I think he saved his tires a little bit. He's made his way up to the third position, and he hasn't really been helped out too much by people pitting. And here he comes under attack of Chris Wright for the second spot.
Jared Mogard comes down pit road as well. Lutz will clear Wright entering turn 3. Josh Personet and Damian Leininger both heading by on fresh tires. You can see how much speed that fresh tires gives you, and I wonder if the advantage will be that significant as Damian blinks out entering turn 1. He's back though, and right in front of his teammate Ryan Lutz. He'll swing it down to the bottom of the racetrack and try to unlap himself from Tate Lytle.
That's a scary sight there for Ryan Lutz, having your teammate blink out on you, not knowing where he is as he came up the racetrack right in front of him. Now, David, with these guys getting blown by on fresh tires, maybe do you think about holding out a little bit longer if you're maybe Tate Lytle, Ryan Lutz, and Chris Wright?
I think, here comes Ryan Lutz right now, heading to pit road. Chuck Sweeting coming with him. I was going to say, I think these guys might be making a mistake. It's going to take a long time to run down Josh Adams. You need every lap you can get. Dalton Tucker entering with these guys as well. We're gonna have to see how much extra speed the newest tires have versus the older tires of Adams and Damian and Cameron Rich and some of those guys who came down early. The speed difference is pretty substantial though. Everyone was on the same set for the first 60 or so laps of this race, but now we're gonna have guys on different sets of tires. You see Joe Francis, James Heater just flash on by. Our former dominant car, Chris Wright. And now these guys have to be really careful. If the caution does come out, as Ethan Burrell might be cutting off Jeff Crean a little bit there, heading to pit road.
This is when it can become dangerous. You have guys on used tires trying to get on pit road, guys with fresh tires, and this is where cautions can happen. Trying to get down to pit road. Most of them have made it onto pit road now, but still a few cars out there trying to run it out a little bit as we got 30 to go. We're on lap 70 of 100.
Adams is not ahead of Ryan. Oh, he is ahead of Ryan Lutz now. He is half a track ahead of Ryan Lutz. Josh Adams is. We're gonna have to see if this strategy works out for Josh Adams. Tate Lytle hits pit road.
Yep, here comes Lytle on pit road, and he locks it up.
Tate Lytle and Chris Wright both very long time entering there. Got hard on the brakes.
I think Chris Wright had to lock it up because of what happened in front of him with Tate Lytle.
May have been a little too much speeding. We'll have to watch the pit times for both of them. The one who stayed out now is Matthew Weeks. He's the one hoping for a caution desperately, I might add. And behind him, it will be Josh Adams, the race leader. Once it all cycles through and Weeks pits, Adams will be your race leader, and he is going to be in control of this thing by like 6 seconds over Nick Massey.
Well, and depending on how long Weeks comes, and actually here he comes right now. He's coming onto pit road. We'll see if he can get that car slowed down to pit road speed. This is where you could ruin your race, like we saw with Tate Lytle. see how much of a difference that makes with the 56 car, but that hands it over to Adams. I was going to say it depended on how long Weeks was going to stay out. If Adams could just pass him under the green flag before he hit pit road.
Yeah, it was not too far behind. Josh Adams is going to be a big leader in this race now, and he's going to be caught. These guys are going to come up on him and really run him down fairly aggressively, but it's changed up the running order dramatically with these green flag pit stops. So Adams short pitted by so much that he has a massive 5-second lead over Nick Massey. Cameron Rich is third, Johnny Thomas fourth, Matthew Bayuk fifth, Damian Leininger is sixth, James Heater is seventh, Joe Francis is eighth, and Josh Personette rounds out that top 10. So kind of shocking with the it's Matthew Weeks that's throwing me off there. Personette is ninth, Dalton Tucker is 10th, Ryan Lutz is back in 12th. Just a really shocking turn of events here. We just have to see if these guys with fresher tires can run down the likes of Adams, Thomas, Rich, Nick Massey. Can Massey run down Adams?
Well, and I said it earlier that Adams might have to be concerned about fuel strategy and everything, but we just saw Weeks and Lido run 42 laps on a stretch of gas. So Adams should be good to go to the finish. He pitted on lap number 60, which would give him 40 laps till the end of this race.
Watching kind of these lap times click off here. We'll see how much Nick Massey is catching at Josh Adams, the race leader. That lap, Adams puts one on the board. Massey gains 9/10 of a second. So the 48 is coming on the 95 car. 95 is going to have to hope for another caution here before he gets caught. Otherwise, this strategy won't work out for him. I was wondering how badly the tire fall off would really affect these cars. We have to see if Ryan Lutz, Ethan Burrell, those guys are outside the top 10 now. Matthew Weeks is all the way back in 19th. He came as the leader. Where's Tate Lytle? Looks like Lytle may be a lap down. So he and Chris Wright, I think, did get those penalties for entering too quickly. So with that, Tate Lytle, Chris Wright, pretty much out of this race unless the caution comes out.
That's what David had said earlier, and that's what we mentioned when it happened. You can blow your race trying to get on pit road during a green flag stop, and we might have just saw it happen. And Massey is closing. They're within the same corner, within half a corner now of each other between Josh Adams and Nick Massey.
Car on the
Still
move
about
is
2 seconds, though.
Yeah, this car on the move is this 12 car. Damian Leininger, he has run down Cameron Rich. He's going to go after Johnny Thomas next. Leininger and Nick Massey might be the two that are kind of in the driver's seat at this point. Massey is catching Adams quickly. This battle is about 2 seconds behind Massey. Nick Massey, though, might be able to hold off everyone else if he can stay out in that clean air and force guys like Ryan Lutz and Ethan Burrell to charge through traffic.
This is definitely playing into the hands of a couple guys like Johnny Thomas and Damian Leininger, who needed really solid runs like this up inside the top 5. Haven't had the best of luck to start the season, and now they're running here 3rd and 4th.
Quick update for those of you at home who might be joining us wondering where the ticker is. We've just had a little bit of an issue with the technical side of things, trying to keep you up to date on the running order as much as we can. It's changed dramatically recently, so we'll go over it again. Josh Adams now the race leader, but he's quickly losing ground to Nick Massey in second. It's only 1.3 seconds back to the 48. Johnny Thomas currently runs third. Damian Leininger running in fourth. Cameron Rich is fifth. Dalton Tucker sixth in the 24. Ryan Lutz is now up to seventh, just 5 seconds behind Josh Adams. The 36 might be in the driver's seat if he can keep up the gains that car is making on those cars with the older tires, as Leininger goes for third on Thomas. Matthew Bayuk is running eighth. Ethan Burrell is ninth. And Joe Francis currently runs in 10th. Leininger does get around Thomas, but who is that underneath him? Is that Chris Wright or is that Tucker? That is Tucker. Dalton Tucker and Damian side by side for third. And Dalton Tucker might get him here. I think the 24 might have the fresher tires.
How about a good run here for the 24 as well? That's a bad luck the last 2 weeks. A guy that was leading the points for a brief period of time here in the ERSCA series. Back up here in the top 10, and there goes Lutz. He is on the move, going to go by Thomas and Leininger on the bottom. Hasn't quite cleared Leininger yet, but he is definitely coming towards the front.
Yeah, a little look now, but Ethan Burrell is right behind Ryan Lutz. and he's got help. He's got Tate Lytle shoving him through every corner. Lytle now is a lap down. He and Chris Wright got those twin speeding penalties entering pit road. So Lytle and Burrell are kind of shoving, Lytle shoving Burrell through the field, trying to get him to the back bumper of this 36 car, because I think that's the key to winning this race, is whether or not Ethan Burrell can get around Ryan Lutz. He's gotten all the way to the back bumper. The shoves by Tate Lytle are absolutely working.
Burrell, like we talked about in the open, has finished second the last 2 weeks. He wants to get the race win. He's feeling desperate. We saw it earlier with the way he was racing. Like David just said, tire wear might play a massive factor with everybody pitting, and if these two, we might be looking at the end game, these two battling it out for the race win if they can get up there.
Yep, they're going to have to catch Nick Massey and Josh Adams. Massey is all over Adams for the race lead up ahead. This is the battle for, I think, the true lead once we get things sorted out. Massey and Adams now going after one another. Massey's going to have the fresher tires, but they are both getting eaten alive by Dalton Tucker, Ryan Lutz, and Ethan Burrell. Massey will go to the point.
So to put it into perspective, Nick Massey has about 5 to 6 laps fresher tires than Josh Adams. And you saw how fast he ran them down. Now these guys have about 6 to 7 laps fresher tires than what Nick Massey has, and about 12 laps fresher than Josh Adams.
Big move there from Nathan Burrell around Ryan Lutz, trying to get Tate Lytle clear as well. His drafting partner, Tate's been glued to the back bumper of that 37 car. That's a big move as Burrell now in front of Ryan Lutz.
I was going to ask you, David, if you were Burrell, if you were going to just kind of ride with Lutz through the field and not really use your stuff up too much. But I guess that answers my question. Lytle trying to work himself back up onto the lead lap as well, as he'll go around Burrell, but that is not for position, and neither will be this pass with Chris Wright on the bottom.
Caution is out. Caution is out on the speedway. That'll change everything. Lytle will get the free pass. So that actually was a big move by Tate Lytle. He kept Chris Wright one lap down. Lytle will be back in the lead lap and able to go after. Looking for the caution. I didn't see anything.
Looks like it's Indelicato once again.
Ooh, yeah, Nick Indelicato slow on the apron. So big crash there in turn one. Looking back on it, I think Indelicato got run over there by Colin Fambro entering one. Not much sense for that one. I think the stewards will have to say something about that. Big props to them. Johnny Eckert, rather, the steward in charge so far. He's been a great admin for us. That does change everything. Ethan Burrell will now have to come in down pit road and restart in fourth, probably, or fifth. It'll even out the tires for Massey and Adams. It works out for them. And them and Damian Leininger and Johnny Thomas gain a ton of track position.
And there you saw it off the nose of Colin Fambro's car, goes around Nick Indelicato. Well, David, she's been sitting quietly for about 82 laps. I think this would be maybe a perfect time for Emily to go down there and maybe talk to a few guys, maybe see what their pit strategy might be.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely a great idea. Emily, go get us some ideas for this final run to the checkered.
I know she's been biting her tongue down there, waiting to have a chance to interject in our fun up here. It looks like most of the guys will come down.
Coming down pit road, and everyone has made it. It'll be a big importance to see who gets off pit road first this time. Adams might beat Tucker. It's going to be close between them. Massey's going to get them all. Nick Massey retains the lead off pit road. Looks like they came in most of the way they entered pit road, actually, and almost exactly to that point, though Matthew Bayuk will lose several spots. I think so. It'll be Nick Massey, then Josh Adams, Dalton Tucker, then Ethan Burrell, Ryan Lutz, Damian Leininger, Johnny Thomas, Joe Francis, Cameron Rich, and Thomas Sherman, the top 10. And this race has going to get I think, short run complexion to it. I think these guys are going to be running pretty hard, I would say, and maybe causing some cautions of their own. Dom, we can actually interview somebody, while Emily's down interviewing on pit road. We could, let Nick Indelicato step into the booth and ask him some questions ourselves.
All right, let's do it.
And Nick Indelicato, David up in the booth. What happened out there, man? We saw you get involved in that early wreck, and we know you had damage.
Yeah, me and Colin had a little incident last week where he blocked me, and I passed him cleanly. I mean, we've had incidents in the past, and early wreck I made it 3 wide, and he decided to wash up and took like 3 other cars out. Never said sorry to anybody, and it was for 30th place, which made it even worse. And then I don't know, that last one was pretty obvious. I was just following the guy's draft in front of me, and I was obviously down on power. Everybody was passing me on the straightaways, and yeah, I just got packed. I mean, I feel completely bad for everybody because that should have been a full green race. Nothing else should have happened. And he just full throttled me. I mean, everybody else could see that I was faster down the straightaways, and he just killed me. I mean, I feel bad for everybody else because I know I was annoying them the whole race, but it is what it is.
All right, thanks, Nick. We are about to go green here, but good luck the rest of the way. We know you're up in the top of the points, so hopefully you can get him back next week, bud.
Yeah, sir. Thank you.
Nick and
All right, and
Delicato, driver of the 01.
And we have Emily back as well. Emily, what'd you find out?
Yeah, hey guys. So I just went and jumped down and talked to a few of the guys in Rubens Racing, I believe it is. And Nick Massey said his strategy is just to stay in front of Josh Adams for the rest of the way. But Brandon Scott said that I can quote him on this, that either Josh or Nick is going to finish first tonight. So we'll see how that goes for the rest of the race.
We didn't get our picks in due to going quickly earlier tonight, but I would tell you I would have picked that 37 of Ethan Burrell. So obviously Brandon Scott's turned in his pick for this one as we go back to green.
Thanks, Emily. I know you've been waiting to give us a little bit of information, so we do appreciate it as always. And back to green we go with our Stay Tuned Sports 200. 15 laps left to go here in this one, and it's Nick Massey out to the race lead with Josh Adams, and here comes the 24 car of Dalton Tucker.
A while since we've seen a big restart, and here comes Ethan Burrell charging on the outside. He'll go around Tucker and Josh Adams. Ethan Burrell to second, and the guy who has always finished second, trying to make it a first place finish tonight, doing everything in his power to win this one.
Yeah, and there's really no concern about running the tires too hard. 15 laps, a little short burst here to end this one. Look for that 37 car to be very aggressive. We've mentioned it throughout the night. Back-to-back second place finishes. David just hinted at it. He's going to be pulling out everything he can to try to get around Nick Massey and put that 37 car in victory lane.
I kept telling him, Ethan, you gotta do something else. You know, he ran Chris Wright cleanly last week, ran Chuck Sweeting cleanly in the elite race at Charlotte. They crash off a turn 2. Damian Leininger is gonna wall it in the inside wall. That'll be a caution, all for sure. Flipping down the back straightaway goes Dalton Tucker. He clobbers Leininger again. And that will set up another restart. Brian Lutz involved, the points leader.
All right, we're gonna have to go back and look at that one because I thought Tucker was inside the top 3, and then all of a sudden he somehow comes and clobbers Leininger from behind. So this one's gonna be an interesting one to go back and look at.
Big crash there on the back. I think Tucker was on the inside. We'll have to see what happened here. So here they come, and Tucker, I think, washed up into... Yeah, well, maybe not. Damian clumps up the track and gets into Lutz, who clears into Tucker. Cameron Rich involved. Look at Joe Francis shooting the middle.
Johnny Thomas diving way down low to avoid that one.
I think the big incident here is going to be when the 24 gets hit on the back straightaway, and we'll have to see who it is that clobbers into him. Person that misses, Dylan. Oh, no, it's Kyle Hanshaw that clobbers him. It takes out Jared Mogard as well, and that sends the 24 up and over.
Poor Jared Mogard. He had such a good run going, was driving up through the field too.
Oh, Dylan Thomas and Josh Clark involved.
Pretty big one here and towards the end of the race at Michigan.
Now we can send Emily back to pit road and see what the Apex Sim Racing guys thought. They were both involved in that. Damian may be the primary suspect. They're exiting turn 2.
She may have been sitting patiently for the last 82 laps, but I feel like she's going to be busy for the next 10.
I think you're absolutely right, man. We might want to go on board with Joe Francis there, Josh. Josh Sobel, our incredible producer, doing a great job even despite the the issues. We're hoping we bringing you good pictures, and Josh always does a fantastic job. Uh, Certainly not his fault tonight, and neither was it last week. So hopefully next week we'll have full pictures for you, and everything will be ready to go. See if we can't get an onboard shot, maybe from Joe Francis or Tate Lytle, one of those guys that dodged the wreck. Here's Joe Francis is on board. Tamian comes up the track, gets into him, and look at the C's part for Joe Francis. Not a scratch on the 50 car. He'll have a chance in this one, restarting fourth. Crazy wreck there, and that'll set things up very, very interestingly for the rest of this race as Adams and Massey both make it through, and some of their primary competition was taken out in that one. So really, it's only Ethan Burrell versus these Rubbins Racing guys. On board with Tate Lytle now. Watch him clear through this. Look at all the smoke in front. Lytle down to the apron, cars flipping in front of him. And he makes it through. Oh, has to go through the grass to do it, though. Drifting it. Great job by Tate Lytle, who keeps a potentially race-winning car clean. Unfortunately, he'll need a lot of track position and a lot of fortune to make it all the way up. So one to go on the restart, and we will reset the running order for you right now. It'll be Nick Massey on top, Ethan Burrell second, and I would watch for that 37 car. He has been fast all day and on a mission to win a race. Josh Adams third, Cameron Rich fourth, Joe Francis fifth, Johnny Thomas is in sixth, Chuck Sweeting in seventh, Matthew Bayuk is in eighth, James Heater in ninth, and Matthew Weeks has worked his way into the top 10. Once again, in 10th, that's another car that I feel like could be a race winner should he have a little track position.
Yeah, we're going to really have to watch this 37 car. He's been aggressive, and now he's got the preferred spot here on the restart. Kind of surprised Massey took that bottom line this time instead of going to the top. We've all seen that the top line is the fastest way around here. And with about 10 to go when we go green, at 37 of Ethan Burrell is going to be very, very aggressive.
Yeah, Massey does get the launch on the inside lane there, as the leader, but I can't help but feel like Ethan Burrell charging in on the outside is not what you would want to try and defend. It seems like Burrell has just been able to make that outside lane work entering turn one, and he's just giving it to him right away here. Maybe Massey knows more than I do. We'll see. Pace car about to head down, and we will restart with 10 laps to go.
Here we go. Nick Massey, Ethan Burrell going to lead us hopefully to the final restart, and Burrell gets a horrible restart here on this one, and Massey will pull away, and Josh Adams almost gets that second spot too.
Now, and Burrell's going to pack it in on the outside lane, though. That's what his kind of signature move has been tonight. Rich drives it in underneath Burrell. Didn't let him get any momentum going. Here comes Ethan, though, on the top side, and he will get to the second. He might even have the lead entering turn 3. Big run from the 37.
He is all over the back of Massey. Almost somehow does not get turned off the nose of Adams. He'll dive it down to the inside of the 48 car of Nick Massey. See if he can make that bottom line work and try to slide up out of turn 4. Not going to be able to do it. They're going to be door to door coming to the finish line, though.
Sweeting into 5th spot. Where'd he come from? The 75 car moving forward. Burrell and Massey side by side for the lead.
Cameron Rich into 4th as well, watching right behind Josh Adams. And they are still side by side in through 1 and 2. Down the back stretch they'll go.
Josh Adams now providing the benefit to his teammate. Cameron Rich gets in behind Adams. They're going to try to draft by Burrell. Down the back, Burrell holding strong in the 37 car.
Burrell might need some help there on the bottom line if he wants to hold his position. He's doing a good job, though, through 3 and 4. Going to come back up and try to pull even have a little bit of a nose advantage coming towards the line. He might have it this time.
Ooh, man, that one was close at the line. 1/1000th of a second to Nick Massey that time. Burrell packs it off into turn 1. Here comes Chuck Sweeting into 4th. Matthew Weeks into 5th. The guys that we know are fast have been in the top 10 all day, moving forward late, including one of Ethan Burrell's teammates. Can Weeks get up there and help Burrell?
Burrell's been able to get a drive through the corner that time. Now Josh Adams jumps down to the bottom to block Weeks and try to help out the 37 car. Burrell almost cleared Massey last time out of turn 2. Can he clear him out of turn 4 this time? No, too big of a run for Massey at the line. It's going to be close once again.
Massey that time by 9/1000th of a second. If this race comes down to that, it's going to be absolutely insane. I think the inside line hasn't won a battle like that yet, though. Man, Adams trying the bottom again. Don't know if he'll be able to clear him.
Josh Adams just trying to find somewhere to go, trying to find an advantage to get around these two and trying to make a bid for his race win while trying not to make it 3 wide. Burrell
Adams is 3 wide right here. Matthew Weeks jumped underneath Josh Adams and about took him out. Weeks now to third.
Burrell sees a familiar teammate in the rearview mirror now, trying to come up here and help him win this race.
At the line that time, it was Burrell by 300ths.
There you go, David. That time, the bottom line gets the run, able to get the advantage. He might be able to clear Nick Massey this time out of the corner. Burrell gonna try, decides to slide up in front of Massey. New race leader, Ethan Burrell.
Trying to jump down and drag his teammate Matthew Weeks up to second if he can do it. That might be a risky move, giving Massey the top once again. Burrell has the lead clear, and he'll do it. Burrell to the lead fully, I think now. He'll have to hold him off 5 more times. What a race.
Massey blinks that time. Weeks down to the bottom, trying to come to the second spot now. Adams jumps back up to the top to help out Massey, and there goes Burrell throwing the block into the corners. They go into 1 and 2.
Oh my God, okay. Battle for second, Weeks and Massey. Weeks gonna try to clear him now. Wonder if Massey maybe used up his stuff trying to hold off Ethan Burrell, but it's all Burrell now. Weeks trying to get to second and ensure the pro edge 1-2.
Josh Adams just trying to find somewhere to go. He can't make any ground, jumping back and forth between lines. He's going to try to look under Nick Massey this time for the 3rd spot. As we come to the line this time, there'll be 4 to go.
We can maybe just grab Emily real quick while the lead is settled down. Emily, what did those Apex Sim Racing guys say?
Hey guys, yeah, so they weren't that thrilled, you can imagine. You know, Damien said he just got loose coming off 2 and thought he could get in front of Ryan, and obviously didn't go out that way. So Ryan was not that excited when I went down there being taken out by a teammate, but I think he'll be all right.
Thank you, Emily. Great report as we'll go ahead and finish this race off. 3 laps to go. Josh Adams and Weeks almost making contact down the back straightaway, and now it'll be Adams into second behind Ethan Burrell.
And now here comes Nick Massey back on the charge once again under Matthew Weeks for the 3rd spot, trying to move back forward once again. And there's Chuck Sweeting into the 5th spot, and we're looking on right behind. Front 2 have settled down and pulled a little bit of a gap, but Josh Adams wants a race win as well.
Adams has that one from Talladega. You know, Ethan Burrell has been hungry, charging for these wins. He just hasn't been able to pull one off yet. These two were battling at Talladega. They were 2nd and 3rd last week at Chicago. These two look like guys who might be running at the last race for the championship. Josh Adams and Ethan Burrell, they'll come down 3 laps to go.
Battle here for the 4th position. Chuck Sweeting and Nick Massey doing battle now, and you have to wonder, David said it, 48 car might be fading a little bit from the pressure of Ethan Burrell. And he's backing up just a little ways, but Burrell holding on here as we go down the back stretch. Adams going to get a run, close in just a little bit. Coming to 2 to go.
The comeback drive of the year might be Tate Lytle, running 9th right now after going through the grass and going a lap down. What an incredible job by Tate Lytle to get back to 9th.
How about that too? Right behind him, Scott Crump, who's been quiet all day, now inside the top 10.
The battle will be for the win here as we are, I believe, at 1 to go. Ethan Burrell and Adams. Adams packs it down into turn 1. He'll sacrifice the exit, though. Ethan Burrell's going to drive away from him.
I think we have 2 to go.
2 to go. Yep, 2 to go. My bad. We're getting ready for it, but Adams is driving it like it's 1 to go.
He's got to find something. We're right at that gap where Lytle was trying to close in on right about 0.2 of a second. And Adams is going to have to do everything he can for the next little more than a lap.
White
How about
flag.
Chuck Sweeting, though? He's closing in on Weeks here for the 3rd spot. White flag in the air, as David just said.
White flag up. Chuck Sweeting going for 3rd on Matthew Weeks. That's the battle on the track. Adams just not close enough. 0.3 back. I think he might have given it up. Used it all up there entering turn 1. All the last good in that 95 car. And it's finally time for Ethan Burrell as the battle will rage on for that third spot and that podium finish between Weeks and Chuck Sweeting. As to who gets interviewed last here, it'll be so good to hear from Ethan Burrell finally as a race winner in ERSCA Series. Burrell with the fast car all day and finally takes one home.
Checkered flag in the air. Ethan Burrell will break through in the Stay Tuned Sports 200 here at Michigan International Speedway. After finishing second fiddle for the last 2 weeks, he finally picks up a win here in the ERSCA 2021 season.
Oh man, and it's been such a long time coming. He'll have to change his Twitter name finally, because he said it, he put his Twitter name that he always gets second, and he finally won't have it. Ethan Burrell and his Pro Edge teammates coming up to congratulate him, because those guys are excited for Ethan Burrell. They work very well as a team. You saw Tate Lytle pushing Burrell through during those green flag pit stops, and what a drive by Tate Lytle to come back to ninth, man. That is really impressive.
Yeah, finishing off the top 10 here, Josh Adams will come across in second. Chuck Sweeting will come across in third. Matthew Weeks will come across fourth. Nick Massey will wrap up the top 5. Joe Francis will finish in sixth. James Heater in seventh. Johnny Thomas comes across in eighth. Tate Lytle in ninth. And Scott Crump rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, and another note, a great comeback by Chris Wright to finish 11th in this one after his misfortunes. Josh Personette with a really good run to finish 12th. Cameron Rich finishes 13th. Matthew Bayuk 14th, and Brandon Scott 15th. And Brandon Scott's prediction turned out not to be true, as Emily called. Marshall Stanley does finish 16th. RC Anderson 17th. Really a quiet day from RC. Adam Pettit 18th. Michael Goodman drives to 19th, and Harrison Talon rounds out the top 20. So with that, I think we'll bring in Chuck Sweeting here and let him talk to Emily.
Hey, Chuck, do you have a copy? Chuck, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I do.
There you are. Perfect. So third place for you tonight. It seems like pit strategy played a big part in the race. What was your plan on how to manage that?
Honestly, I ran about as hard as I could the whole race. The setup was really nice, really balanced well, and God, these guys were so fast, and I just fought tooth and nail the whole time, and was able to bring it home third. So, pretty good race for me, especially considering the luck I've had this season so far.
What would you say was maybe the biggest challenge for you on the track tonight?
Trying not to overheat the right rear. Hey, the cars would get a little loose once the tires got hot. They'd get a little loose on exit, and if you gave it too much throttle, it would overheat that right rear and continue to get looser. So just trying to manage that a little bit. That and the draft, and I don't know, it's close racing on these tracks with these cars, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm glad to bring it home in one piece.
Yeah. Before we let you go, are there any shout outs that you would like to give?
Just everybody with ERSCA and Belly Up for all the work they do, and all the admins with the league. It's a lot of work, and I really appreciate those guys and everybody that's involved.
Well, thanks so much for the time, Chuck, and congrats on coming in third tonight.
All right, thanks a lot, Emily.
All right, and with that, we'll bring in second place runner Josh Adams now. Adams will be gaining well in the points tonight after this one.
Hey, Josh, do you have a copy?
Yep.
All right. Well, second place for you tonight. What was your strategy coming into the race?
I knew tire saving was going to be a big deal. Michigan typically goes green flag, so just try and take care of the tires. Same typical thing. Stay out of trouble. Did that for the most part.
What are just kind of your overall thoughts on how the race went tonight?
It was a really good race, really clean, fun up front. Congrats to the 37. You put that guy out front, you're probably not going to pass him.
Well, last week you came in third. This week second. Does that mean first place next week?
Hopefully. I'm not really too sure where we go next week. I think we have a couple of short tracks coming up, so got to avoid all the chaos in those.
Well, before we let you go, are there any shout outs that you would like to give tonight?
Oh, yeah, just, my team, Revens Racing. I think we all had couple of us had pretty solid runs. Some of the other guys had, some bad luck, but uh, just my team. I'm sure you guys did a good job in the booth. Just everybody running a clean race.
Great. Well, thanks so much for the time, Josh, and congrats on coming in second.
Thank you.
And Josh, real quick before we kick you out, North Wilkesboro is next week. You were absolutely spot on there,
You're gonna have to survive that one.
as always, bud. That was Josh Adams, our second place finisher, and now we will bring in the man we've been waiting for to interview as a race winner for, well, all year really. That being Ethan Burrell. So before Emily takes over, congrats, Ethan! You finally got one.
Yeah, this one's for you, David.
Aw, I love that.
I told him he had to do anything it takes to win one. He finally got it.
All right. Well, with that, Ethan, what was the key then for you winning this one tonight?
Well, I think a lot of things kind of fell into place right for me there near the end, but I mean, ultimately, I knew I had really good speed at this track. For some reason, this just seems to be one of my better tracks. I ended up getting a win in the elite racing leagues at this track, so just be quick, be consistent. Kind of hang out with the lead group most of the night, and then Chris Wright having his pit road issue and Tate Lytle as well. I mean, that was kind of the silver platter there for me. So I knew I had to execute, and I also knew that Westergreen would be sitting there begging me to get the job done.
So it's mainly David was your biggest inspiration for the win tonight.
Yeah, and all the guys at Pro Edge Racing too. I mean, everybody was hyping me up there, and yeah, I mean, it was just awesome. Like I said, I knew I was quick, but was able to execute tonight.
We talked a lot about pit strategy tonight. How were you able to manage that so successfully?
Yeah, I was a little scared of it, but thankfully our guy, Joshua Clark in the 28, he's kind of our numbers guy in the team chat. So, he keeps our head on our shoulders there when the pit strategy comes into play with the green flag stops, and um, I knew that I was gonna have to find whatever advantage I could to try to drive around the 69 and the 56. So. I knew waiting as long as I could to pit would help me out the best. That way, I had better tires at the end. And I was really bummed when that yellow came out to end that long run because I really felt like I was going to get the job done if that ran all the way out. But I mean, either way, I was able to get it done on those starts for sure.
Well, before we let you go, are there any shout outs that you would like to give tonight other than David?
Yeah, other than David, I got my grandma and Aunt Judy for watching as always, and then any friends and family of mine that watch these races. I just got to thank all the guys at Pro Edge Racing for sure. I mean, these guys make these races so fun, and the guys at Rubbins Racing for the way we battled tonight. I mean, I had a blast out there, and it made the win all that much more rewarding. So, thanks to everybody involved in ERSCA, and man, it's finally good to get that win off my shoulders.
Yeah, we're super excited for you, and a big hello to your grandma and your aunt. Thanks so much for the time tonight, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you guys, and let's go, David. We got it done.
Finally.
Yes.
All
With
right.
that, yeah. Woo.
Thank you, Emily, for the interviews as always.
With that, I mean, what a race there, and we just saw a lot of really good side by side battling. I thought throughout the night, but especially in that run to the end with Ethan and Nick Massey, and then the battle between Ethan and Ryan Lutz going for it on the green flag run. It was just a really great race all around, I thought, and like they said, props to Johnny Thomas for bringing us a great track and a great package tonight. It was a really good looking race to watch and to announce.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a lot of fun up here in the booth this time. Once again, want to make sure that we mention or that we give a shout out to all of our sponsors, including Belly Up Sports here tonight. No, we didn't have a lot of time to throw it to them, but there is all of our sponsors on the screen. and our presenting sponsor here tonight, Stay Tuned Sports, for sponsoring the race. Thank you to everyone that makes the broadcast possible, especially Belly Up Sports, helping us put this on. Any final thoughts before we send it out? Emily, maybe you have a few things you want to mention?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to give a shout out to you guys just for holding the fort down tonight and keeping everyone up to date on where everyone was running tonight. I thought you guys did an excellent job, and super stoked for Ethan. It was really fun to get that interview from him and hear the excitement. So I'm just super amped up for next week already and can't wait to see how that one goes.
Yeah, definitely going to be a fun one as we head to North Wilkesboro next weekend, right here on the Belly Up Sports Network at 9:30 roughly Eastern is when we'll go live again. Unless David has any final thoughts, I think that's going to wrap it up here tonight.
Nope, come back next week, guys. It's going to be just as good as it was this week. Short tracks, though, are going to always be crazy. So be ready.
All right, and that's going to do it here for the ERSCA series and Belly Up Sports. For Josh Sobel, our producer Emily Harland, our pit road reporter, and David Westergreen, I'm Dom Santina signing off here from Michigan International Speedway. Have a good night, everyone.